Okay, a warm welcome. Just exactly a year ago, not many people, even here living in London, have ever heard of a street called Devonshire Place. Just but many Londoners know Ali Street. That is where the rich and the famous come for treatment. Just as I was coming here a few minutes ago, I saw a Rolls Royce just turn into the street. But right 1 year ago was where, through the help of one of my contacts, I broke the story that late President Muhammadu Buhari passed away in one of the hospitals right on this street, Devonshire Place. Not many of us have heard of it before. Just close to, a few minutes away from Baker Street. This was where the late president took his last breath. Of course, his people didn't want anybody to know. Death is a private thing until a very good contact, you know who you are, gave me the lead to say this was where our former president passed away. So here at London Clinic, it's exactly a year ago that the president, late President Muhammadu Buhari, took his final breath on one of the floor. He was a two-time president of the country, and he is not new to London. I remember almost 20 years ago, he was holidaying here, and also through a friend then who wanted to see him, and he said no, he was there on holiday. He wasn't doing any interviews then. And in 2015, many years later, in 2015, before the election that brought him to power for the second time, he was here in London at Chatham House in a very, very box office event. But sadly, 10 years later, he was rushed to this hospital, the London Clinic here, Devonshire Place. That is the hospital just right, the clinic exactly opposite me. It became like a mecca of a sort then, as after breaking the news, the media came over and other well-wishers came around to try to see him and pay their last respect. His family, of course, were here. His son was there with many members of the northern community and making effort for the transportation of his body back to Nigeria. But this is exactly 1 year ago that our former president, two-time leader, first a military head of state and then the president under the party, under the All Progressive Congress, on which platform he contested, became president for the second time and was in power. It was after his tenure that he took ill and was brought to this place. From some of my other sources, probably he was even attended to by Nigerian specialists, who work here, because here you get the best hands the best surgeons, they work. They don't work on Harley Street, they work on the street next to Harley Street like this. And the hair was very, very busy the day after he passed away. It was until that late night that the story was broken. Not many people know that this was where Say Baba took his last breath. And may so continue to rest perfectly in the Lord's peace. It's worth remembering him, and for whether you are a political associate or not, it's worth remembering somebody who served the country for 2 terms. Is an incredible feat which not many people will have the opportunity, whatever he did, but we must remember that president. Let me move back to the other side. But last year, 1 year ago, was very, as you can imagine, very busy year after breaking the news. A prominent professor was one of those here who was very grateful that it was under President or the military head of state that he got a scholarship to come and study abroad, and he is forever grateful for the opportunity that came to him. During Buhari's first tenure as a military head of state. So this is the clinic where the late President Muhammadu Buhari took his last breath. And as a tribute to him, it's worth good enough that the nation is associated remembering him, and hopefully as part of any legacy for future remembrances, for good health provision facilities to be made available in his home country. And yes, that is very key. Though officially they don't talk about the cause of the death, which are leaders, but it's not something it's a right which the individual is entitled to his family members not to disclose the cause of his death as they wish. But this is where the President Muhammadu Buhari to this family from here. He was taken to the body was taken for prayers nearby at the London Mosque. Many people, many of his associates came to Florida last year. The day after his passing, the second day after, and also after, because there was a lot of paperwork, bureaucratic opportunity, delaying the release of his body from here to the nearby mosque for prayers. But this is 1 year after late President Muhammadu Buhari took his final breath on one of the floors of this hospital, which is very much a place where the rich and the famous, like I said, just next street to High Street. That's where the famous, the rich, the celebrities come for treatment, medical treatments. And may the soul of former President Muhammadu Buhari continue to rest in Peace.